Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Fetch Quest podcast in another episode of our series, Two Short Games. In this series, two of our hosts will pitch a game to play to each other and to you, the audience, in a bite sized video. Any game we discuss can normally be beaten in 1 to 10 hours, making them easy to pick up and play. But with that out of the way, I'm your host for tonight, Connor, joined by my fellow host, Liam.
Hello there. How's it
Hello,
going?
Liam. It's going great, Liam. And today is a very special day because I'm about to pitch to you, arguably up there as one of my favorite games of all time that I've played. Um, and so the game that I'm going to be pitching to you, Liam, is a game that came out last year called Sword of the Sea. Um, and this game is just it's really good and really short, and so I'm really excited to talk about it.
I, I'm really happy to hear that. I'd love to know what this game's general feel is about. What's the game about?
All right, thank you for asking, Liam. So in this game you play as a little soldier dude. His name, or their name, is the Wraith. And you essentially, after whoever knows how long, you wake up and you see that the entire world around you is completely devoid of water. There's just no water anywhere. And you have the special ability to essentially go to all of these different spots and restore water to them. And that's essentially the whole game. You get on your sword, which also acts as like a little hoverboard, and you just fly, you glide around in the environments of the different little areas, and your entire goal is to just restore all the water to them.
Oh, well, that sounds pretty cool. What's the genre of the game? It sounds pretty unique.
Well, that's the thing is I would just, if I were to give it a genre, it would pretty much just be like a sort of adventure game. There's no real there's no real combat. There's no real like big stakes. Just a nice story about you going on a little adventure uh, to restore water to the planet. And um, if I had to make comparisons, I know it's made by the same developers who did Abzu. If you ever played Abzu,
I've
um,
heard of Absu.
yeah. So I would say if you got a comparison there, it's probably with that game. But yeah, it, it's it's just really good. I'd have to say if I were to go into what my favorite part would be, probably honestly the visuals. I think I've sent you screenshots of the game before when I was first playing through it. And it's beautiful. It's just such a feast for the eyes to be playing the game with how they do the lighting and the environments and the art style. It's just so pretty.
I'm glad to hear it. How long was the game?
So for me, it took me about I want to say up to 4 or 5 hours around there. Again, which is really crazy because there is a lot of stuff to do and explore, but it's just I think it's condensed so well that you're able to just breeze through it. And it also helps that the movement of the game with your little hoverboard is also just incredibly fast and fun to do tricks and gain boosts and stuff like that.
That sounds
And
incredible.
yeah.
How about your if you had to say your least favorite part about the game, what would you say it would be?
Um there are these little and it's optional, but there are these little mini game areas you can do where the whole point is to gain a bunch of like you have to do a bunch of tricks and stuff like that to beat a certain threshold of points. Classic skateboard trick stuff.
Yeah.
Um and you have to do that to get a bunch of currency and stuff like that. And I think that honestly, the mini games themselves weren't bad, but I do think the fact that some areas were kind of locked by needing a certain amount of like currency was a little I think that sort of took away from it a bit, or not took away from it, but that was probably my least favorite, just having to go around and like kind of grind out some of these like currencies and stuff like that.
All right, I can see how that's annoying. So, if you had to give this game a rating out of like 10, let's say, what would you give it and why?
So I've actually thought about this a lot. I think if I were to, really think about what I would give this game when I sort of think about its music, its art style, its visuals, the story that's there, um, and how you sort of exploring these. Because I think the best part is definitely, besides the art style, is probably the exploration you feel with exploring these destroyed ruins and stuff like that, and like you do gain like a little friend halfway through. But if I had to give it'd be a 10 out of 10 for me. I really enjoy it.
That is some high praise, but I don't doubt you at all. I have a feeling that I would really enjoy this game, and I might
Yeah,
play it sometime soon.
yeah. Uh, I really hope you do, because again, I mean, it's in this video, so that means it's really short to play. And I again, I do think this is just a game that really is just a fun time to explore and mess around in, and just see how beautiful it is. I think it's just an experience on its own. But Liam, I would just like to thank you for listening to my pitch. If you have any more questions about Sword of the Sea, I'd be happy to answer them.
I don't actually, because I think you explained that very well.
Thank you.
All right.
But
But,
now, Liam, I'm interested. Do you have a game you want to pitch to me?
well, as a matter of fact, I do. It is a little game known as Signalis. It came
Oh,
out
I've heard about this.
2022, I believe. Uh,
Hmm.
it's an indie game also. Uh, kind of went under the radar for a little bit, but has definitely become a lot more well known in like the last year or so.
Yeah.
And I
Um,
think it's a great game.
could you, if you don't mind me asking, what's it about?
It is a survival horror game where you play
Uh,
as a replica or like an android robot human hybrid type thing searching for someone you don't even know who because you do not have the most sound mind right now, and you have to go through this planet, through this mining facility on this planet, to try and find someone that is very special to you, but you don't exactly know why. And it is survival horror, so there's a lot of monsters that you have to like fight. There's limited ammunition, so you have to be cognizant of all of that. And it's got it's a mostly a story game, and it's got a very impressive visual art style.
nice. I mean, you already answered what the genre is, but if you had to say, like, what are there any games you would compare it to that it's similar to, or?
It this very heavily relies on Resident Evil and Silent Hill games because it very much takes very heavy inspiration from Silent Hill 2, specifically, even in its story and some of its motifs. But like in terms of gameplay, it's very reminiscent of like classic Resident Evil, not like an RE4, RE9, like the RE5, like the action ones, very much like an RE1, stuck in cramped spaces with enemies. You can't see them some of the time, but they'll come off screen. Like it's very much that kind of horror.
Oh, well, that sounds really cool because I haven't played RE1, but I have played RE2 Remake, and I kind of got that feeling from a lot of RE2 Remake as well. Um,
Yes.
and I really enjoyed it in that, so I think that's pretty cool. What would be your favorite part of the game?
Oh, my favorite part about the game is the story. It is non-linear storytelling, so you have to piece together the story as you go along, and it's a very difficult story. I will be honest. It is not an easy story to follow, but that story that it does have is so beautifully written, and the visual art behind all the story is so good because it's a pixelated type game, but it is stylized like crazy. There's so much beautiful art in this game, and it is so visually like beautiful and also just sad because like it's a survival horror game, and it is a horror game. It's very much psychological horror. It is very very well at portraying that type of horror through its visual storytelling.
Gotcha, gotcha. I guess what would it be? You just answered your favorite part, so what would be your least favorite part of the game?
My least favorite part of the game is unfortunately the inventory system of the game can be a little annoying. You only get 6 spaces total, so and every item takes up a space. So it is very frustrating to have to go to an area. They give you the items and then you can't pick up key items, so you have to go back, unload your items to grab one key item. So there's a lot of like there's some annoying backtracking you have to do just to get one singular item, and that singular item will usually lead you to an area that gives you more items that has another key item. So that is definitely a little annoying, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it detracts that much. Like there's very little to complain about, but if I had to give one reason I didn't enjoy the game, I did not enjoy how often I would have a full inventory with a key item. It happened way
Yeah,
more than it really realistically should have.
yeah. How long did it take you to beat the game?
I beat the game in 7 hours, and that was one
Nice.
playthrough. You can play through multiple times to get like different endings, but like one playthrough will take about 7 hours. I've only played it once, and honestly, it was an amazing experience.
Nice. I guess since you think it's an amazing experience, I assume you have high praise, but like, what would you give it out of 10?
It's a 10. It is a 10 out of 10 game. I finished that game, and it was one of those games where I just like sat there going, "Oh wow, that was absolutely incredible." And I couldn't even understand some of it because, like I said, they it is a very complicated story, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that if I did not do research on it by myself, I would not appreciate the game like I do because, like I said, it's very complicated, but it plays well and it feels good to play, but the story and the art is just top notch. Gotta be like a top 5 video game story of all time for me. And that I love it
Dang,
so much for it.
that's really high praise. And I think it's really funny that came out here with we came out swinging with two 10 out of 10 games.
I mean, to be fair, we're recommending games. We're gonna recommend each other the best of the best.
True, because we're goaded like that.
Exactly.
But you know, um, I don't think I have any more questions. I think you answered everything really well. So
Yes.
good on
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Connor, for listening to my pitch. You don't have
Yep.
any more questions, but if you do, let me know and I'll be happy to answer.
Yeah. No, I don't have any questions. Again, I think you explained that well. Um, Yeah, I think because I've heard of Signalis before, but never really knew what it was about. But you gave me a lot of clarity on that. So yeah, thank you for that, Liam. And also thank you, viewer, for listening to our pitches. If you have any more questions if you personally have questions about the games that we talked about, if you want to tell us about how you felt about these games, um, we'd really appreciate your comments down below. And if you like this series and this kind of content and you want to see more of it, please like and subscribe and let us know. But with that,
But with
thank
that,
you again. Oh, sorry, my fault.
no, you're all good. But with that, thank you again for listening to this episode of Two Short Games. Connor and I, we will see you later.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.